Mexico Top 1. This place is my all-time favorite in this Mexico trip. This is a petrified waterfall, but it's actually not a waterfall. It looks like a waterfall from afar, but it's actually just water coming out from the ground, flowing down the hill. Those water are actually full of minerals, and when it flows down the hill, it creates the look of a waterfall. Here you can see the green water. Those are the one that's full of minerals. And I don't know why, but the local built two unnatural pools around this area that you can just soak in and just kind of chill because of the really hot weather around this area. Now this is the very close up of the Petrified Waterfall. Absolutely stunning. It's very unique kind of rock formation, and there's a hiking trail that you can hike from the pool all the way down to see these Petrified Waterfall up close, and it's definitely worth doing it because you can see this Petrified Waterfall up close, and it's very unique formation that you can just see those mineral water coming down, and you can also enjoy the view along this area here. Make sure that you are fit enough to go down and go back up again because it's actually quite steep at most places, and under such heat it's actually quite exhausting to go back up. I don't know how far the hiking trail is because I've never reached the end of it, and most of the tourists just end up here and they returned back to the pool again. So I suspect it actually goes quite a long way to see different waterfalls. This small town called Izamal, it's only 1 hour bus ride away from Merida. As you step out of the bus station, you feel like you are back in time. It's like every building here it just felt like it's from another era, and they managed to kind of preserve the old town as the way it is, and everything that you see, all the buildings are painted in yellow. Another thing that's quite special about this town is that there are actually a lot of ruins that you can actually climb. One of the one you can actually go all the way to the top, just to kind of see the overview of the entire town. And this place is actually not very touristy. I suppose most of the people would love to go to, the big ruins like Chichen Itza and all the cenote around the area, but this one is normally being left out. So if you feel like you want to avoid all the tourists and just have the whole place to yourself, this is the best place to go. This town is quite small, so it should only take you maybe around 2 hours just to kind of see everything within the town. Guanajuato is actually my very first destination in Mexico. There's actually an airport just nearby. It's only 1 hour away from the airport to the bus station, and then you have to kind of take another bus from the bus station to the city center, which is going to take you, I suppose, half an hour. And this place is a very welcoming town for anyone who's the first time into Mexico. It's very vibrant, it's very colorful. I happen to be there on a weekend, so it's like everybody's out. And you can see there's a whole lot of things happening in the city. This city is a good size to explore. It has everything you would ever want in the city. You have the city square where there's a lot of live performance that's been happening. You have a lot of restaurants for all different budgets. They even have a hill that you can either hike up or you can take a tram to go up for a really nice view that overlooks the entire city. You have the food market that you can just kind of go and taste different local food, and you have the souvenir shops, like a market that sells all the handicrafts and everything for souvenirs. Surprisingly, there wasn't a lot of backpackers around. I wonder why, but this place is pretty nice to kind of just explore the local culture. The nearby town called San Miguel de Allende is actually a UNESCO town. It has a very similar feeling to Guanajuato, but this place are packed with tourists. and it felt like the entire city center. It's tailored for tourists. It's actually, if you just walk a little bit further away from the city center, you're already outside and you can actually get to experience the local culture a little bit more. This town also has an artist market and a food market where you can really see the local produce or the fruit and vegetables. It's really nice and organized here. San Cristobal, this is a very unique town. It kind of just blend in the tourists and the local together in one place, which I really love about it. You don't just get the souvenir shops and the very touristy stuff, but if you just kind of just walk one street away, you are already in the local area. This place is very rich in culture in terms of food and handicrafts that you see, and the music culture is very strong here. Surprisingly, it's actually here in San Cristobal I found the best taco I've ever tasted in this trip. If you feel like you want to get into the nature and ready for a good hike, El Chilfon is the best place to be. This place is actually very refreshing with all the waterfalls. It's a very nice hike that goes all the way up to the top of the waterfall. But this place is a little bit hard to get to. It's gonna take you around 3 hours total one way just to get from San Cristobal to here. 2 hours on a bus and 1 hour on a collectible. And including all the waiting time, that's going to be more than 3 hours just to get here. But it's totally going to be worth it. As you see the waterfall, it's very clear. You can even just kind of just go for a swim, or if you just feel like wanting to go for a hike to the very top, you can. It's very not too challenging, but it's a good hike. It's likely you're going to take a whole day to get here, so make sure that you go here early so that you don't have to kind of fight your way through the tourist crowd. A lot of tour actually comes here, but they won't have enough time to see everything. You just want to come here by yourself if you want to hike everything in this park, because there are many different levels of the waterfall and it takes quite an effort to get to the very top, and once you're halfway through, the crowd pretty much just disappeared. Palenque, it's a very important site in the Mayan culture. Here you can find all the ruins in a jungle setting. It's very peaceful to kind of walk around the area, and it's quite big. So expect around 2 hours or more just to see everything and to climb all the pyramids and just to kind of appreciate all the ruins in this area. This place is a little harder to get to compared to all the other ruins, but I reckon the most efficient way to get here is by a tour from San Cristobal. It only cost me 400 one way. It takes you to 2 waterfalls, one in Misohar and one is Agua Azul, and it takes you all the way to Palenque, and it just finish off at the city center around 5 o'clock. More temple. Agua Azul is a place where the tour would normally drop you here for like 1.5 hours, and you just can't explore on your own. I felt like this place is a little bit over commercialized, because on the right hand you get all the waterfall and different layers of waterfall that you can just kind of walk along, but on the left hand side you can see all the souvenir shops and people trying to sell you things. The tour normally drop you here for like 1.5 hours, including the lunch break. And this is a good spot to get your lunch here, because you can get empanadas for like 40 pesos for like 3 of them. I think quite a good deal considering it's quite a touristy place. Now this is Misoha, and again tour company drops you here for like 45 minutes or something, but I reckon it's a little bit too long. Basically it's like you just get out of your bus and you just walk towards this waterfall, and you can walk behind the waterfall as well, but you can pretty much do it for like 15 minutes or so. This place has a very difficult name to pronounce. I think it's pronounced Teotihuacan. I've been trying to practice it for so many times, but the local keeps on correcting me. This place is around 1.5 hours to 2 hours away from the city center in Mexico City, and it's a very nice place to visit because you can see all the ruins and you can climb all the pyramids. You can climb the 2 major pyramids, but pretty much throughout the entire site you can walk anywhere. As long as there are steps, there are no fences, you can actually just walk. It's nice to see it. It's massive. This place is absolutely massive. It's the avenue itself, I think it's around 2 kilometers just to walk from the entrance all the way towards one of the temple you see at the end. Most of these pyramids are pretty steep, and just make sure that you don't have fear of heights, because otherwise when you come down it's pretty scary actually. And finally we have Mexico City. Here you can find many different kinds of tacos here, and you can also find many shops where you can get all your supplies for your trip. It's a very typical city. You get all the old buildings, you get the city life, you get shops, all the modern stuff that you need before you continue your journey.